single day. I'm gonna make something.
Hey Soul Family, I wanted to talk to you really quick about emotions. This week has been very interesting for me between friends, family, and clients DMing me and emailing me about various situations going on in their lives. One theme has been very present, and that is the theme of not dealing with our emotions. I think many of us have grown up in a household where we either didn't see emotion or somehow learned that certain emotions weren't okay to display, right? And that could be more of the negative emotions or those perceived as negative, right? So experiencing pain or sadness or even confusion, frustration in a way, unless of course it was anger. Like anger for many of us was okay to express, but really those deep-rooted, painful feelings was just not something that was okay for us to express or to share with people within our home, right? And so as a result, we've grown up as adults who unfortunately don't know how to express their feelings, right? And so what happens when you do this, when you suppress anything, you're essentially denying it. And when you deny your emotions, you give them the opportunity to destroy you. Really, truly do. This is how overeating manifests. This is how, various excessive behavior, alcoholism, drug addiction, etc. manifests because we are trying to suppress or remove ourselves from an emotion that really is our superpower, right? That really is something we are supposed to feel, endure, and move through. And I think it's so interesting that most of us, because we've grown up in these homes, where our emotions really weren't nurtured, we didn't talk about them, we didn't communicate them, we tend to really keep that all buried inside, right? And then we become adults who just don't know how to engage or interact with people in a manner that's healthy because we haven't really been able to be maybe completely vulnerable or even learned how to be. So here are a couple of things that I've recommended to people who are dealing with this is take a minute, allow yourself to at least identify the feeling that you have, even if you may not be ready to share it because of fear of judgment or whatever the case may be. But at least take a moment to yourself to journal it, to acknowledge it, and to recognize it. Because here's the other thing about emotions when you suppress them. This is just another form of you rejecting yourself, right? And all that leads to is lack of self-worth, lack of self-confidence, lack of self-esteem, etc., which again all leads to more pain, more depression, and these things that you can easily just snowball into very aggressively if you don't recognize them and begin to try to pull yourself out of them. So again, one of the things to do is just to write it down, identify whatever the emotion is. It could be sadness, it could be pain of some kind, it could be frustration even, it could be guilt, it could be fear, right? Something that you just don't really want to express or share with someone else. Intimacy, to a certain degree, is something that a lot of people don't want to express in a way other than sexual. And what I mean by that is, there may be an intimate feeling where you feel very neglected, maybe, and you end up lashing out and sharing that feeling or that emotion, as a form of anger rather than what it really is, right? I mean, I'm sure many of you have done that. I know I myself have done that, especially when I wasn't connected to how I was feeling. So I encourage you to write it down, identify, identify what it is you're feeling. And once you've identified it, look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself what you're feeling. What emotion is coming up for you, and then identify why is this emotion coming up for you, and give yourself permission to feel it fully. And one of the things I recommend while you're doing this is to talk about the sensations that you're feeling in your body, right? So if your heart is racing, say that. You can even write it down, journal it, whatever the case may be. But this will give you kind of those first steps and tools and being able to learn how to deal with your emotions in a manner that's healthy. And then once you do that, then really uncovering, why am I feeling this way? Sometimes because you've expressed like sadness, for example, in a way of anger, right? Or you've been hurt and the way that it comes out is aggressive. Because you've been so conditioned and so habitual in doing that, you typically will continue to have it lash out in that way. So you may not even know that it is hurt or sadness, and you may recognize that, but you might not know. So really identifying what is the reason for this feeling is also very helpful, so you can really dig in and figure out, what is this emotion coming from, what is the cause, what situation brought this up, and then just experience the way that it feels, because that also gives you an opportunity to really understand what a particular emotion feels like, right? Because we've gotten into such a habit of labeling our feelings without actually really feeling them. So again, I will definitely share more, but this was on my mind. I've had so many folks email me and contact me about just really dealing with difficulty in the home, or even just around their loved ones, and expressing emotions that aren't, happiness or gratitude or, those things, and just it really being an area of discomfort when they're trying to tackle emotions that are a bit more sensitive and require a bit more vulnerability. So these are some things you can try. Shoot me an email, DM me, let me know how they're working, and I look forward to hearing from you. So, love you so much. Take care. Bye.